Good morning. It's Wednesday, the day after the election. Here we are. We're still waiting for results, and we're being very patient about it, sort of. So, Augie is my third son. He's 20, and he wants to ask a question. He's born the day after Christmas, and he's got his favorite shirt on. Go ahead, Augie.
My question is, what does it mean to be ruled by something?
Being ruled by something just means the day you were born, where was your sun at? Was your sun was in Capricorn, so you're ruled by Capricorn.
But I want to know, what does
Yeah, go ahead.
what does that mean for someone, like being ruled? Like, what does that determine when you're ruled by something?
When you're ruled by a planet, you take on the planet's characteristics, their features. So if you're ruled by Saturn, you're ruled by the father planet, who's in charge of institutions, schools. Also, Saturn rules health. He's the doctor card. So he rules health also. And so when Saturn was asleep at the beginning of the year, that's when COVID snuck in. And then Pluto and Saturn met up, and Jupiter and Pluto met up, and they exacerbated Saturn's sickness and made it grow. And right now Pluto is also awake and meeting up with Jupiter, and that's why there's more COVID cases again. So Saturn is the doctor card, like Dr. Fauci's Saturn, let's say. And he's going to say what he says, he's your father, and he's there to protect you. And you either agree with him or you don't. And as you know, as a Saturn person, sometimes when you talk, you sound like a doctor or a dad. Even to me, your mom. Because I know who you are, I don't take it personally. And you've been that way since you were a kid. So the fact that I knew when you were born, I could look up your cards and your planets, I knew that you would get bossy towards me eventually because you're the father card. And I'm kind of a childlike girl. So it's all good because I listen to you a lot, and you've helped me. Like, you helped me in my allergies this summer a lot. And you're not a real doctor, but the planet has an innate understanding of years and years of karma of who you are. And it is also the karma planet, Saturn. So Saturn's a very powerful planet in terms of he affects us a lot. You know, he helps us. But not everyone can get along with a Saturn person, because not everyone is, some of them are really serious and kind of bookish. And when you talk to them, they might sound like a teacher, like your husband can sound like a teacher to you. Like, how was your day? Fine, how was yours? You know, there's not much emotion to it, which you know is true. So that's why I tickled you a lot as a kid. So this would happen so that you're a little bit more free to let go of these restraints that were kind of placed on you when you were born. But also goat people are, they're called the goat for a reason. They're the goat, because they're usually very unselfish people, and they're just caring. But they get misunderstood a lot for being serious because their planet is a serious planet. And we need you guys around, obviously.
So, aren't multiple signs ruled by the same planet?
Aren't multiple signs? Some signs have, yes, some planets rule two signs. Like Venus rules Taurus, which is the bull, and also Libra, which is the scales of justice, which is where Mercury is right now, waking up in Libra. So yeah, Venus has two homes. Mercury has two homes. Mercury rules Gemini and also Virgo.
So, two different sun signs can be ruled by the same planet.
Right. But Gemini is an air sign. So that's what Psi is. An air person is got their heads up in the clouds. That's what they say, which you know is true about Psi. And then Virgo is a earth sign. So they're about harvesting, and that's what Hub and Jake are. They're the, they're grounded compared to Psi. They have their feet on the ground, and Psi's like, ah. So that's why you need some of everything. I have a sun in every season. So you're my winter sun. And the more into winter months you go, like let's say you're Saturn, but you're born the beginning of the Saturn rule, so you have a little bit of the Sagittarius in you, which is the number 5. It's so more of it's ruled by Jupiter. It's more of a freer feeling than, let's say, you're a Capricorn born in the middle of January. It might feel more heavy there for you because you're in the deep of winter. And winter people are considered to be the most intelligent over time. And I think it has to do with the fact that you guys are hard workers and you also absorb information. You don't think information is not important. So I think that's why Saturn, a lot of goat people are really intelligent. A lot of them are teachers, professors. And if they're not born under that sign and they're a professor, their moon could be that. Their Mars could be that. Because most goat people want to teach eventually.
Yeah, your brain deletes long-term memory if it thinks it's not important anymore for your survival.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Which is what's happening in the world now. Things are getting deleted that aren't important. As long as it's not human beings, it's fine.
But you know what you probably haven't forgotten?
What?
Is stuff about 9/11.
Oh.
Because it's so emotional in your brain. It's so important for survival to your brain that you'll never forget that.
And that was the other thing I spoke about yesterday. I used some of your knowledge you passed on to me about how moms, when they're pregnant, how it affects their children. Can you explain that a little bit more, what you read?
Well, basically, it's just like if you are pregnant, you're basically creating a baby in your body.
An imprint, you were saying, right?
Yeah, and your
explain that imprint thing.
Basically, your baby, they don't know how to use their brain at all, so they're learning from you how to use their brain the entire time.
Right.
They're in your stomach, and basically, they're in a constant state of yawning.
The baby?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm always yawning.
But like constant.
Yeah.
And so, nobody knows what yawning really is, but I believe it's them trying to mimic the brain activity of someone near them.
While they're in the womb, they're yawning.
Yeah, while they're in the womb, they yawn constantly.
Huh. They're not breathing air yet, so.
So it doesn't have anything to do with air.
That's pretty cool.
It has to do with brain calibration.
Oh, doesn't also yawning, if you yawn and someone else yawns, does that mean you're part of you're not a psychopath because you're in tune to other people's brain waves?
Yeah, something along those lines.
So maybe that's what the baby yawning is, getting in tune with the mother's brainwaves. Yeah, but also you were saying that the colder weather and stuff affects how the baby looks, right? It's not just DNA.
Well, it's like how much sun you're getting during pregnancy can affect the baby's skin tone.
Yeah,
that's what I think at least.
I believe that since my children are all different variations of brown. And I did have you kind of in a cooler month, and you're my palest child, which would make sense.
And you probably didn't go out a whole lot once you already had 2 kids to take care of at home.
No, I wasn't going out much. I was doing laundry, watching movies with you guys. And plus, you don't want to go out after you have a baby or when you're pregnant. Not really. Well, guess what Jake I did, but Jake's different. You can see he's out everywhere talking to everybody all the time. So, any other questions you want to ask about your moon or anything, or what does it mean, or? So now you can tell your friends if they say, "What does my sun sign mean?"
So your moon can be ruled by something, or it is.
Your moon is always ruled by something else. Some people have their moon and Mercury all the same, and you don't even know that they're born in a certain month because their moon, Mercury, and Venus are on the same side. It's taking over their whole personality, whereas they should be acting like, let's say, a Leo. They're not, because their moon and Mercury and Mars, let's say, is in Capricorn. So they might be a very studious Leo, which isn't what you think of Leos. Leos are usually very fun-loving and not serious about much and just chasing chicks, So that's what I'm saying, is that even though you're born the same day, it depends on where you're born on Earth and exactly the time you're born. That is what shapes your personality, because all the different planets are in different parts of your houses that you're born. You have 12 houses, 12 months, 12 signs. So you also have 12 houses. So, but the thing is that everyone's Saturn and Uranus and Pluto, the last 3 planets, the last 3 houses of your birth, everyone has the same. It's a generational planet. So your planet Saturn is a generational planet. So like your Saturn's in something else, whereas mine's in something else, because I was born in the 60s. So that's the trend that people look for, that are advertisers. Is like, okay, so I'm going to market to this group. What is their Neptune and what are they dreaming about? How can I sell to these kids that's in your group? And that's how marketers use planets. And as you know, astrology was only available to royalty a long time ago. And the first people that used it were the Egyptians. And Cleopatra had her deck of cards. And they weren't playing cards. They were cards for astrology reading. So people are also connected. Every sign originally was made into the cards. And then the Greeks and the Romans took it out of the cards and put it into the planets and made each planet a god. So your card is the 5 of heart card. That's the day you're born. So that means the 5 is Jupiter, and also the 5 is the house of playfulness. It's what Leo rules over. Leo. It's the house of games, playfulness, children, generosity, philanthropy, which is what Leos are. So since you're a 5 in a goat, that's why I always knew you were going to be kind of fun-loving person, because you were as a baby, and then you got older and your Saturn took over and you got very serious and you're like, mom, 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 mom. And so now you understand it a little bit better. But Capricorns in particular, a lot of signs in particular should all be into spirituality, because it helps to ground you and make you understand your moods better and other people, how they react to you better. Because it's kind of confusing. You get out there and you want to be serious and funny, and you're like yesterday you were being serious and I was kidding with you, and you got annoyed because I asked you something 5 times, and since I know who you are, I just said, okay, he'll get over it in a minute. And then you came back and said, yeah, you kept asking me the question 5 times. But I knew it was annoying. That's why I was doing it, because I know how to annoy you too. And why do I do that? Because I have a little bit of Leo in me, the fun game person. I like to tease, and sometimes it can be annoying to my children. But it gets you out of your mood. So that's why I believe moms should all be into astrology for their kids, because it helps you get along with your child so much better. Also, if your child is a sign that's next yours or across from yours, things happen where you're going to clash and you don't know why, and that's happened to me with all my kids, obviously. Okay, going to school now. Any other questions, Young? He's going to be an engineer, by the way, this guy.
No. Signing off.
Okay. Thank you for stopping by today, guys. This is my conversation with Augie about Capricorn and Saturn and what it means to rule. What does it mean when something rules you? Augie asked me yesterday, does that mean that I have to do what it says? I'm like, no, there's a top and a bottom side to everything, good and bad. So you always try to choose the good part of that. You can always go to the downside and end up in jail, but you don't want to do that. Okay, love you, Augie. Thanks for coming on my podcast.
Love you.